to my black people from all over the world. I hope that you're happy and that you are enjoying perfect health from wherever you're watching me from. So my black people, ever since the Russian-Ukraine war started, I have noticed that most Western people and governments are very upset on realizing that many African countries are behind Russia. Yeah. And so the video that I'm going to share today is that of President Museveni making a speech in Russia in the African Russian summit. And President Museveni seeks to explain the reasons why most African countries are behind Russia, in the current war. And according to him, by the year 1900, more or less the whole of Africa was colonized. So President Museveni goes on to explain that the Soviet Union, which is obviously the country that was succeeded by Russia, he goes on to say that the relations between Africa and the Soviet Union were very crucial for the liberation of the whole of the African continent. This is because in the year 1917, the communists in the Soviet Union were able to ascend, to the power of that country. And after that event, they went on to support the various liberation movements in the African continent. And this is the actual state of events, because was it not for the support of Russia, both militarily and financially, I don't think that many African countries would have succeeded, in their fights against the colonialists. And I can give an example with the country of Mozambique. The country of Mozambique was colonized by the Portuguese, and so the Soviet Union offered a lot of military support to the Frelimo, which was, the rebel movement which was fighting against the Portuguese in that country. And in fact, they became victorious courtesy of the support of the Soviet Union. And if we head down south to the country of Angola, in Angola, the Soviet Union also rendered its support to the, the rebel movement in the country at the time, which was fighting against the apartheid South Africa. And of course, as you know, the apartheid South Africa government was seeking to enforce a minority government in the Southern African region. And they also assisted, the MPLA in fighting against the Portuguese in Angola. So the assistance of the Soviet Union in the African continent, as far as liberation movements are concerned, cannot be understated. It cannot be discounted. And Russia actually played a very significant role in the liberation of these countries. I leave you to watch the video and hear it from the horse's mouth, from Mr. Museveni himself explain, this situation. And that's all for today. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you can watch more of this content. Goodbye.
On behalf of our delegation for meeting us today, but also for this forum. As I told you when we met before, and as I will be saying in some of my speeches, the relationship between the Soviet Union and Africa was very crucial for the liberation of Africa. As I told you, in South Africa, by 1900, the whole of African continent had been colonized, except for Ethiopia. There were two big events which happened soon after that. One was the formation of the African National Congress in South Africa in 1912. That was the first time the Africans were organizing for liberating Africa. Then in 1917, the communists took over power in Russia here. And they were the first international group to support us. And then later on, they were joined by China, 1949. That formed a solid anti-colonial force. So even when all these things are happening, we tell whoever wants that, look here, the Soviet people are the first who stood with us when we were fighting against colonialism. Therefore, this is the starting point.